Welcome
back to Finnegan's Garage. We're gonna have some fun this time. 2 projects to work on, both of which I know you're gonna like. First project is my 1976 Chevrolet C10. This is the one that we're having a sweepstakes for right now. Now, until October 5th, you can enter for a shot to park this in your driveway or your garage. We've already begun working on it. We did a full QA1 coilover conversion to the back half of this truck. No more leaf springs, and we're about to do the same for the front. Check this out. We are going to get rid of the factory stamped steel cross member that hangs way too low and convert the whole thing to coilovers, also from QA1. It's going to be awesome. We're also going to come over here because we put the biggest motor I've ever owned in the smallest jet boat we have here in the fleet, which is my 19-foot RPM Cheyenne. And this is the 711 Sonny's motor, the one that used to be in Game Over. I got this idea to put it in here because obviously the boat's never fast enough, right? So let's go faster. And the guys at Sonny's told me that, hey, by the way, if we put some more compression in it, a little more cam, and maybe a few more liters, this could make 1500 naturally aspirated. No nitrous, no turbos, no blower, nothing. And all I have to do is make it run, which means new headers. A couple other small things, but basically same motor mounts as the old motor that was in here, the 632. The 711 drops right in. I just got to build new headers, which is not a big deal because the folks at Stainless Headers Manufacturing sell cool stuff like this cannon. That is a 5-inch collector with 2.5-inch primaries in it in a merge style deal. Look at that monster. And yes, I said 2.5-inch primary tubes. Basically, the same exhaust pipe a lot of cars have these days are just one primary tube for this engine. And so what we got to do is figure out a handy dandy way to put this right about here, steady, and then connect all these tubes. See these badass laser cut flanges we got from Stainless Headers right here. These are 2 3/8 primary tubes that will step to 2.5-inch U-bends that will ultimately terminate right there. Once that's done, we're going to go visit Sonny's World-Class Racing Engines and refresh this thing with more cubes, more cam, more compression, put it on the dyno and see, will it really make 1500 horsepower with just a pair of dominators on top? I think it will. But in the meantime, I guess we can start on this. There's 2 ways to do this, right? You could pull the motor and trans out. You could pull the whole front clip off this truck, none of which we want to do. I think what we're going to end up doing is just pulling the hood off so that we can get the hoist in there. If I can remember how to get the hood open.
Got to open the hood first.
And then once the hood's off, I think we can hook the hoist to the motor, take some pressure off of it, and then the cross member and the front suspension out from the bottom, because most of it unbolts anyway, without disturbing any of this stuff. Because we're actually running out of time. October 5th, contest is over. If you go to, what was the name of it? Oh yeah, if you go to fsmgarage.com right now and buy nothing, there's details on how you can enter this contest. However, if you buy a sticker pack or a shirt or hat or hoodie, you get more chances to put this in your driveway or some other really cool prizes. All the details are on the website. Good luck to all of you. I hope you win this truck. Let's get to work. In my opinion, the coolest jet boat headers do one of these deals. They come out of the ports, they kind of wrap this way, and then they go this way, and it looks like a cannon. And yeah, it obstructs the valve cover a little bit, but in most instances, most engines, you can still get the valve cover off. The Hemi is a little different animal. The spark plugs and wires go through the valve cover, which means if you stick the header right here, you can't get these out. And you don't have to take the headers off every time you change spark plugs. That would suck. So what we're going to have to do is probably move the collector rearward and maybe out over the gunnel of the boat as opposed to inboard. And then run our tubes right here and down, which means we should be able to get the valve cover off. Of course, I'll have to mock all this up to be sure, but I think we can make it happen. The trick will be making something that clamps here to provide a platform to put the collector on top of and hold still while we fab everything. That'll be step one. I always like to start at the very end or the very beginning. In this case, we'll start at the very end. We'll get the collector situated here and then figure out what it takes to get the tubes to go there. Ooh, aluminum dust. Look at that. I just chopped up some very expensive, looks like 5x5 aluminum angle with the rounded corner inside, the strong stuff. This is 6061. It's left over from some other projects. And it makes a pretty good cannon mount, if you know what I'm saying. There's no wrong way to do this. Unless at the very end it leaks, falls off, or makes strange noises. Then maybe you've done it wrong. Step one, make her level. All right, you're up.
Go down?
Yeah, go down. You're about 1.5 degrees up in the front. Oh, hold on. Keep going. Got about 1 more degree to go. Keep going. 3/4 degree to go. Keep going.
Running out of jack.
You're 1/2 degree up. Whoop. Hold on. That's close enough. Okay, hold it. That's 6/10 up. All right. Clamp her on there.
This clamp ain't all that great. We've lost part of the handle.
It's custom. I think
Massive.
Beefy. Beefy, I like it.
It matches the chunk of aluminum that some people call a head.
Yeah. Plus, raising it up will save the paint on the gunnel.
Yeah.
We'll have to build a heat shield because it's going to get cooked, but it will definitely help it. Dude, that's cool. All right. I think we can now start working on primary tube number 1. This straight piece of pipe is about to be turned into a curved piece of pipe using pie cuts. I don't have a tight enough radius in 2.5-inch diameter tubing to connect the number 7 primary tube to the collector, so I'm going to make angle cuts on a 9-degree angle. And when you add 9 degrees and 9 degrees, that makes 18. 18 times 5 section makes 90 degrees. So this straight piece can be turned into a 90-degree bend in just this much tubing. It's awesome. So we're going to use our chop saw first to shorten the tube here, and then we'll change the blade angle down here and cut our 90-degree bends, pieces, whatever you want to call it, right now. Look at that. Straight pipe turning into curved pipe. I love this saw because it doesn't leave a bunch of slag. And I haven't even deburred these yet. And you can already see the end result is a really tight 90. Some of these I didn't make as short as the others. Like that one's wider. But it will work. Pretty close to a 90 and not very tall. Pie cuts. Pie cuts are a giant pain in the butt to make. But man, are they a good problem solver. Because check it out. This is the U-bend I have. And from here to here is way too far for some of the pipes I got to build. In particular, the one closest to the collector. But if I take that straight section, cut it into 9-degree segments, 9 degree here, flip it over, 9 degree here, 9 degree here, 9 degree here, suddenly you can take a straight piece of tubing and turn it into a curve, a really tight curve, which means we can connect stuff that would be really difficult to connect. I gotta make more of these, but basically I'm gonna make this deal go this way, and then this way, right up to here. It's a pain in the butt. If I had a smaller radius mandrel bend, I could probably build this, but I don't. So this is the way. I have spoken. Alright. This section's a bit long. We could shorten it. We'll have to continue pie cutting up this way, but we're on the right track.
All right, as you can see, one of the first steps was to remove all the existing steering stuff out of it. Steering box, tie rods, the whole 9 yards. Everything came out. Next up I've got to remove a lower control arm, sway bar, and the front cross member. As you can see, all the steering box is gone. This kit comes with a whole new rack and pinion. Power rack and pinion. You have to redo the steering arm and power steering lines. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get cracking on this. What I've done is removed our fan from the front of the motor so that we'll clear the shroud. Pulled our engine mount bolts down here, and I have put a jack down here under the pan and just jacked it up a little bit to clear the motor mounts. Now, my next goal is to remove the factory motor mounts from there off of the block, remove that inner structure from the frame to the cross member, and then the whole cross member can get dropped out the bottom.
Stock front end delete.
Come on, girl.
It's going.
Slowly but surely.
Thank goodness for the old transmission jack.
Yeah. All right.
Free. Okay, hold on. Got a little brake line hanging up here. Okay. Go for it. Oh yeah, you got this.
Oh.
I got room on my side.
Okay.
Boom. Nice. Without pulling the motor or the trans.
Or the front clip.
Yes.
With a little bit of extra work, but it works.
So the instructions, suggest you take the front clip off and the motor and trans out. But man, this was a lot easier. As long as you can drill all the holes that got to be drilled. But I think with a right angle drill, it'll work.
I think we can do it.
Now, does it keep the clamshell mounts off the engine block, or do those come off?
No, those come off. There's whole new mounts there. I'd take those off. That's where I might kind of skip around on the directions, because the directions call for setting this all up in there and then putting the mounts on the block. I don't know if we're going to be able to get up in there and put the mounts on the block with this in place.
Yeah, we're kind of going a different route, so maybe putting the mounts on the block first, then putting this up in there.
Yeah.
But dude, look how much lighter this is going to be than
do
this. This is a lot.
We do have to remove the spindles off of here because they're getting reused.
Oh, for real?
Factory spindles get reused, yes.
Oh.
Unless you ordered lowered spindles.
Nope.
Okay.
Not going that low. This is not a dump it flat on the ground deal here. In fact, I'll be honest, I kind of like the way it looked with the knobby tires on it when it was lowered before we ripped the front end apart. I might just put it down with those on it, step back and go, that'll do, pig. Or we'll buy some wheels. I don't know. It just depends. We'll see what the vibe is. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So we've got our cross member is in. Everything's bolted, torqued in place. So right now I'm going to go ahead and get our shock mounts installed, the inner supports for the shock mounts. Once I do that, I can probably go ahead, finish the engine mounts and lower the engine down, and that's done. Then I'll jump back and finish up the A-arms and installing shocks and all that stuff. So that's where we're at now. This is a really great kit from QA1, and it is very doable to do on your own in a matter of a couple of days. It is a lot of work. You're basically ripping out the whole front suspension, everything out from the front of the frame. But other than that, it's pretty simple. So anyways, let's keep on moving. Hopefully we can have this thing down and on the ground by the end of the day. That's my plan. As you can see, our shock mounts are installed, complete. Our bolts for our upper A-arms are installed. Our engine mounts are completely final install on those, and motor is back in place. And now I've got left to install shocks, upper and lower control arms. I still have to take our spindles off of our old front clip over there, and then that'll be it. This will be back on the ground. I'm excited. Yes. These come pre-installed from QA1. They give you these aluminum bushings to slide inside. Those go in inside here. There are some more aluminum bushings that go on each end of it, and you can put some grease on them to help hold them in place, or you can just get them up in your place. Now there's 2 sets of holes on here, and according to the directions for our truck, we use the most outer holes. Once these bolts are all in place and torqued to 50 foot-pounds, these are loosely installed. They get torqued to 42, and then I can move on to the upper control arm, and then we can build shocks. All this stuff was installed when I installed this shock mount. It's an inner support for the frame and the shock, and it's also our upper control arm mount. QA1 has these really nice stainless beveled bushings. The beveled bushing goes this way on here. Our arm slides are right on here. So, a couple flat washers. Now, they do call to install like an 1/8 inch shim back here. I do not have any right now. This will get taken to the alignment shop, so we'll let them worry about it. I don't have any alignment shims to put in it. But then those will get tightened up, and basically our patrol arm is installed. Almost ready to get installed. We got one more to build, and we'll get these installed in the truck, and then I will blow that thing apart and finish this thing up, put it on the ground. All right, as you can see, I was able to beat the old spindles into submission and get them off the old ball joints. That was not an easy task. Our whole front suspension is pretty much complete. The rack is in, uppers and lowers are in, shocks are in, limiters are in. The only thing I haven't installed yet is the sway bar. That will come later. Now I'm going to put these onto there, and we can put wheels on it, put it on the ground, but there's a few things left to do. We've got to make a new steering shaft. That steering shaft is not going to work. We'll get one that drops all the way down into there, where our new power rack and pinion is, and make some power steering lines. And this truck's back on the road with a brand new QA1 coilover kit, front and rear. And yeah, this thing's gonna look good. I don't know why I like it lowered with knobby tires though. It's kind of strange, but it's cool. All right, let's get to it. Good. In the sunlight.
Oh yeah.
Clean.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Flintstone brakes.
Dude, those wheels look good.
I like them.
I know they were on my GMC, but maybe the GMC doesn't keep these wheels. Maybe these go on this. We lower the front another inch, and she'll look right. God, it's a nice truck. I do not want to give this truck away. I really don't, people. I'm sorry. It's too cool. But I said I would, so I'm going to. Which means, between now and October 5th, if you go to fsmgarage.com, you can find out how to enter the sweepstakes. You can see this truck in your driveway. And if not this truck, a whole bunch of other cool prizes. You don't have to buy anything. If you do, it increases the odds that you might win it, but you don't got to buy anything. I wish all of you luck. I hope you're the one that gets to mob this thing down the highway, because it's so damn nice. Look at that. Oh, she's a beaut, Clark. A beaut. We'll see you next time on Finnegan's Garage.